Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Varun Kumar, Assistant Professor of IMT College of Management. In this video, we are going to learn about strategic management. So this is basically my table of content. In this video, we are going to learn about meaning of strategic management, benefits of strategic management process, which include PESTEL analysis, Porter's five forces model, Rio framework, value chain analysis, SWOT analysis, and corporate strategy. Basically, these comes under the process of strategic management. So we will discuss these things in brief. Now, if we will see the meaning of strategic management, there are two words. So firstly, we have bifurcated these words into strategy and management. So firstly, we will see the meaning of strategy. The term strategy is derived from the Greek word strategos, which means generalship or the art of generals. The word strategy means the art of the generals to fight in a war. So we all know that the word strategy has been derived from the Greek word strategos. Our generals use strategos to fight in a war, and if their strategos is good, so they are able to win that fight also. So in the management also, we have derived strategy from the military service, where it refers to applying forces against an enemy to win a war. Therefore, we can say that strategy is something that define your long-term goals and how you are planning to achieve them. In a layman language, we can say that strategy is planning, and we execute that planning or that strategy in order to achieve goals and objective of the company. So now we will see the meaning of management. We all know that management is an art of getting things done by others and by yourself in a systematic manner. Now we will see jointly the meaning of strategic management. Strategic management is the management of an organization's resources to achieve its goals and objectives. We all know that resources are that part of the organization which help organization to achieve their goals and objective if used in a best and optimal way. Now, how an organization can use these resources in a best and optimal way? They can use these resources in a best and optimal way only when they use strategic management. Strategic management helps you to explain that how you can use your resources in a best and optimal way in order to achieve the goals and objective of the company. Strategic management involves setting objectives, analyzing the competitive environment, analyzing the internal organization, evaluating strategies, and ensuring that management rolls out these strategies across the organization. Strategic management is a process where you have to set the objectives, you have to analyze the competitive environment, you have to analyze the internal organization, you have to evaluate strategies, you have to ensure that management rolls out this strategy across the organization. Let me explain you this with the help of an example. Suppose if you are feeling hungry, so you will prepare food for yourself in order to eradicate your hunger. Okay, once you have prepared the food, obviously you have to consume it in order to eradicate your hunger. But if you are not consuming it, then how your hunger will be going to eradicate? In the same manner, if top management has formulated these strategies, but they are not rolling out these strategies across the organization, then what is the benefit of the same? So the top management has to ensure that they will roll out the strategies across the organization. Strategic management is all about identification and description of the strategies that manager can carry so as to achieve better performance and a competitive advantage for their organization. Now, how we can say that a company has achieved a competitive advantage or not? Simply, we can say that organization is said to have a competitive advantage if its profitability is higher than the average profitability for all companies in the industry. Strategic management can also be defined as a bundle of decisions and acts which a manager undertakes and which decide the results of the firm's performance. Now we will see the benefits of strategic management. What are the benefit of using strategic management? The first benefit is a company is able to get competitive advantage. As I have explained earlier in this slide, that companies are able to achieve competitive advantage if they use good strategies. Strategic management gives businesses an advantage over competitors because its proactive nature means your company will always be aware of the changing market. How you can say that a company has attained competitive advantage or not? As I have already explained, that a company is said to have competitive advantage if its profitability is higher than the average profitability of all companies in that industry. Second benefit of strategic management is achieving goals. Strategic management helps keeping goals achievable by using a clear and dynamic process for formulating steps and implementation. By using strategic management, companies are able to achieve their goals and objectives. So, this is also one of the benefits of strategic management. Next is sustainable growth. Strategic management has been shown to lead to more efficient organizational performance, which leads to manageable growth. Basically, companies are able to increase their sales if they use strategic management. Next is cohesive organization. Strategic management necessitates communication and goals implementation company-wide. An organization that is working in unison towards a goal is more likely to achieve that goal. Obviously, if they will, prepare strategies and all employees of that particular company was going through that particular strategy only, so they are able to achieve their goals and objective as far as possible because they all have common objectives. So we can say cohesive organization is also one of the benefits of strategic management. Next is increased managerial awareness. Strategic management means looking towards the company's future. If management do this inconsistently, they will be more aware of industry trends and challenges. By implementing strategic planning and thinking, they will be better prepared for face future challenges. Definitely, we can say this point also as a benefit of strategic management that managers are always, aware that what's going on in the, environment. Because if a sudden change in the environment can affect their profit, affect their growth, affect their objectives. So management has to be aware that what's basically going in the market. Now, the most important topic of this video, strategic management process. Now, what does a strategic management process is? The strategic management process means defining the organization's strategy. It is also defined as the process by which managers make a choice of a set of strategies for the organization that will enable it to achieve better performance. Basically, there is a four-step process that our companies can, follow in order to attain a good strategy. Now, basically what does it include in these steps? So, first and the foremost steps is environment scanning. Another is strategy formulation. After formulation, you have to implement it, and then finally, you have to evaluate and control. Now, we will learn these steps in detail. Our first step is environmental scanning. As the name signifies, it is the scanning of marketing and business environment. It involves studying, collecting, and analyzing the information from the business environment that will be helpful in the formulation of an effective strategy. The internal and external environment are thoroughly studied in order to contemplate the information related to competitors, customer and consumers. The top management must scrutinize and evaluate the collected information carefully. The first and foremost step of strategic management process is environmental scanning. Basically, before moving further in this process of strategic management, the first thing you need to do is you have to analyze the environment, basically what's going in the environment. On the basis of that information only, you are able to formulate the strategy. If you don't know that what is going in the environment, you are unable to formulate a good strategy. So having a good and thorough knowledge of the environment is also very much important. Now, basically, how you can scan the environment? Basically, there are two ways to scan the environment. First, you can scan through internal analysis, and another through external analysis. Basically, under external analysis, there are many ways to analyze the environment, but we are going to discuss the mostly common uses tools in order to scan the environment. So firstly, we will see external analysis, how you can analyze externally. First thing is pestle analysis and another is Porter's five forces model. Basically, pestle analysis is an acronym for political, economic, social, technological, environment, and legal. Basically, it is a framework which a company must know before formulating the strategy. Political include policies which basically government implement, which government take in order to run the businesses. For example, on 1st July 2017, government has introduced GST. Now, no business can say that we are not going to pay GST, we are only going to pay VAT, we are only going to pay service tax, we are going to pay sales tax. No, if government has implemented GST, you have to pay. You cannot say that we are not going to pay. Under economic includes basically interest rate, tax rate, the rates which are going in the market, so you have to pay according to that particular rate. You cannot say that we are not going to pay. Okay. Third involves social. Social basically involves demanding of society, what basically society is expecting from you. If basically the product which you are giving to the society, you cannot think that the society has to buy that product only. If suppose society is demanding something else for you, so you cannot say that we are not going to provide you, you have to provide to them. Okay. Technology, we know that the main reason that why Nokia has do not existed in the market for long, because they have not getting themselves updated technologically. Okay, they after a certain while of time, they become obsolete and they get out of the market. So you have to technologically, you have to analyze that what technologically is going in the market. You have to take decision according to that technologically basically. Okay. Next involves environment. We all are aware that we take so many resources from environment. Okay, we uses so many things from the environment, so it's our responsibility that we give something back to the society. So basically, through corporate social responsibilities, we can give many things to the society. Next involve legal. This basically include this legislation related to workplace environment. This will include health and safety, equal opportunities, advertising standards, consumer rights and laws, product labeling and product safety. So this is what basically what pestle analysis is. Now, next is Porter's five forces model. Basically, it is a tool that is used to study the market in terms of the intensity of competition by analyzing five major competitive factors. Michael Porter has given five major competitive factors that a company must analyze. First is threat of entry. It is basically the entry barrier of an industry. If there are high barrier to entry, the market segment is highly attractive. The existing company should strive to keep this barrier as high as possible. Next is threat of substitute. In case there exists a close substitute of the product in the market, there are chances of intensified competition. Customer can easily switch from one brand to another on the pretext of quality, price, availability, etc. Next is bargaining power of supplier. If the supplier have high bargaining power, they have ability to regulate the price. The bargaining power of supplier is one of the forces that shape the competitive landscape of an industry and help determine the attractiveness of an industry. Next is bargaining power of buyer. This is ability of an customer to regulate the price of the product. In case there are limited number of powerful buyer, they have the ability to regulate the market. Last but not the least, industry rivalry. This include the number of competition existing in the industry. If an industry is highly competitive, the competition will be high. So basically, this include Porter's five forces model, and through this pestle analysis and Porter's five forces model, you can analyze the external environment. Now, basically, as you have to analyze the external environment, it is also important to analyze the internal environment as well. Now, how you can analyze the internal environment? Obviously, there are many ways to analyze internal environments, but we are going to learn about two most commonly tools which basically companies uses to analyze internal environment. First is Brio framework and second is value chain analysis. Brio framework. Basically, it is an acronym for valuable, rare, costly to imitate, organized to capture value. Now, we all know that resources plays an important role in order to achieve the objectives of an organization. If Brio framework tells you that if your resources is valuable, if your resources is rare, if your resources is costly to imitate, if your resources is organized to capture value, then definitely you are able to achieve competitive advantage. But if you'll see in this diagram that if your resources is not valuable, then obviously competitive disadvantage. If your resources is not rare, then competitive parity. If your resources is not costly to imitate, then temporary competitive advantage. And if your resource is not organized to capture value, then temporary competitive advantage. So basically, if there is yes, 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 then definitely you are able to achieve competitive advantage. But if there is no, 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 then ultimately you are not able to achieve competitive advantage. And if you achieve competitive advantage, that will be for temporary period of time. Next involve value chain analysis. Basically, value chain analysis also given by Michael Porter. Basically, he believes that a company must provide values to their customer. Then only they will rebuy your product. They will rebuy the product of your company and they will promote your product through word of mouth to another people only if they will get value. So basically, he tells two activities, primary activities and support activities, which helps an organization to gives values to the customers. Primary activities involves inbound logistics, basically how you are getting your raw materials into the company. Operation include converting of raw material into finished good. Outbound logistics include basically you are sending your finished good to retailer, wholesalers, etc. Marketing and sales include how you are promoting your goods. And services include basically once you sell your product, the duty of the seller not get end. Your duty is to provide after sale services to the customer as well. Only they will feel satisfied when they will get after sale services. And we know that companies in today's era, companies are providing so many of after sale services because they have to want their customer to rebuy their product. Support activities include firm infrastructure, human resource management, procurement, technological development. Firm infrastructure, if there is good infrastructure of firm, then employees are able to do their work as fast as possible. Human resource management, we know that all the activities or maximum of the activities in the organization can only be done by the human resource. So you have to manage the human resource. Procurement involve basically how much to order, when to order. It will include economic order quantity, reorder level, and all. Next is technological development. Technology development, or we can say development of everything which include in a value chain. Because after a certain period of time, everything get obsolete. Even a human being get obsolete if he will not update themselves. So we have to update it, these things as per the requirement of the society. And you can see the profit. If you will follow these type of thing in a best way, then ultimately the consequences of the same will be the profit generation. So this is the value chain model given by Michael Porter. Next is strategy formulation. Second step of in strategic management processes is strategic formulation. Strategic formulation is an analytical process of selection of the best suitable course of action to meet the organizational objective and vision. If you want to formulate the strategy, basically there are certain steps. Now, what these steps are? First is establishing organizational objective. You must know the objective of the organization, then only you are able to formulate the strategies as per the requirement of the organization. If you don't know the objective of the organization, then how you are going to formulate the strategies and what strategies you are going to formulate. So first and the foremost step is you must know the organizational objective. Second is evaluating organizational environment. As I have told earlier in this video, that you have to analyze the environment, analyze the organizational environment. On the basis of information which you will gather, you are able to formulate the strategy. Third is forming quantitative goals. It is important to fix target that can be quantified. This helps to keep a track of efforts that are being put into achieving the same. Next is objectives in context with divisional plan. In this step, the management analyze the contribution of each division or unit and accordingly plan each of them. Next is performance analysis. It involves identifying and analyzing the gap between the planned and desired performance of the organization. This is helpful to understand organization market position. Next is selection of strategy. The strategy is finalized on the basis of available option and the market conditions. So this is the basically process or the steps of strategy formulation. While formulating this strategy, you must have the knowledge of SWOT analysis. So we are also going to discuss the same in this video only. SWOT analysis is an acronym for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. We know that strength are basically the USP, unique selling points of a particular organization. Companies must focus on their strength. Strength describe what an organization excels at and what separate it from the competition. A strong brand, loyal customer base, a strong balance sheet, unique technology, and so on. For example, a hedge fund may have developed a proprietary trading strategy that returns market beating results. It must then decide how to use those results to attract new investors. As I've already told you, that strength is basically the USP of a company. We know that Apple have its USP. Once a person use Apple iPhone, they are not going to switch to another brand. Mostly it has been seen. Why? Because this is the strength of the Apple iPhone. This is the strength or USP of the iPhone. So basically companies must focus on its USP. Next is weakness. Weaknesses stops an organization from performing at its optimal level. They are area where the business needs to improve to remain competitive. A weak brand, higher than average turnover, high level of debt, and inadequate supply chain or lack of capital. Weaknesses are basically the shortcoming of an organization. Basically, companies need to work on their weaknesses in order to convert their weaknesses into at least a desired level. Next is opportunities. Opportunities refers to favorable external factor that could give an organization a competitive advantage. For example, if a country cuts tariff, a car manufacturer can export its car into a new market, increasing sales and market share. Opportunities basically the new scope of areas for an organization. We know that government is promoting, government is doing their policies liberal for exporting, means it is an opportunities for an organization to take their businesses at a global level. Why? Because government is also promoting, government saying that do export as much you can. So this is basically opportunity is. Next is threat. Threat refers to factors that have the potential to harm an organization. For example, a drought is a threat to a wheat producing company as it may destroy or reduce the crop yield. Other common threat includes things like rising cost for material, increasing competition, tight labor supply, and so on. If we will consider the threat, what can be a threat for Starbucks? We know that milk prices are increasing day by day. If milk price is increasing day by day, ultimately they have to increase the price of their coffee. Okay, this is a threat for the Starbucks. So every company having their threats, their opportunities, their weaknesses, and their strength. Let me tell you one thing, that strength and weaknesses are the internal part of an organization, but opportunities and threat are the external part of the organization, and due to which they cannot have much control over the opportunities and threat. So this is what SWOT analysis is. We must contain the knowledge of corporate strategy in order to formulate the strategy. This involves different type of decision that a firms need to take in order to attain its objective. This include stability strategy. These are the strategy that is followed by small businesses in order to avoid risk. These are no change strategy. Under this strategy, no major change take place in the strategy of the organization. It is best suited in the low competition environment or cases where firms has achieved a significant position. Next is profit strategy. As the name signifies, this strategy is important to achieve profit or improve profitability. This may include measures such as cost cutting, sales of equipment, increased in output, etc. This is helpful in achieving short-term gains. Next is caution strategy. This is a temporary strategy that require a firm to proceed with cautiously with any particular strategy. Second is expansion strategy. Under this strategy, firm works on achieving a faster growth or occupying a larger market share by the change in its offering, marketing strategies, and segmentation. Below are common expansion strategies. First is expansion through concentration. The organization decide to focus on a single or selected business unit. It can make use of its existing knowledge to one single direction. This may include, penetrating an existing market with an existing value proposition, developing a new market proposition for the existing market, developing a new market proposition by attracting new customer. Next is expansion through diversification. Basically, expansion through diversification include the company can diversify its offering by either concentric or conglomerate diversification. Concentric diversification invented developing uh, a proposition related to existing value propositions, whereas conglomerate diversification focus on entering new market. Next is expansion through integration. It involves consolidation of operational unit to produce an economies of scale and greater efficiency. It can be either vertical or horizontal integration. Next is expansion through cooperation. It involves merger, acquisition, strategic alliances, and joint venture. Next is expansion through internationalization. In this, the company decides to cross the geographical boundaries and grow internationally. Next is a retrenchment strategy. Retrenchment strategy focuses on restructuring, divestment, or selling of a business unit. It includes turnaround strategy. Turnaround is a restructuring process that converts the loss-making company into a profitable one. The main purpose of this strategy is to increase the profit. Another is divestment. Under this, a company selling of a portion of its assets, often to improve company value and obtain higher efficiency. Next is liquidation strategy. This involves selling of a specific business unit or shutting them down. Next is a combination strategy. A combination strategy employ any simultaneous combination of other master strategy. It include use by a firm of a different strategy in individual business unit or by use of multiple strategies in a single business unit at the same or different time. This is most popular in large complex organization, or we can simply understand that combination strategy include combination of either retrenchment strategy, combination of either stability strategy, or combination of expansion matlab, or combination of thrice one, twice one, and a single one also. Next process of a strategic management process is strategy implementation. Strategy implementation refers to the execution of the plans and strategy so as to accomplish the long-term goals of the organization. It converts the opted strategy into the moves and actions of the organization to achieve the objective. This is the third step of the strategic management process, which means strategy implementation. If you have formulated the strategy, and suppose if you are not implementing it, then what is the benefit of formulating the strategy? And once you are formulating the strategy, you have to implement that strategy also in order to achieve the objectives of the organization. If you will not implement the strategy, then there is no benefit of formulating the strategy. Many a times it has been seen that Once a strategy is implemented, still there is no benefit of the organization. Why is it so? There are some of the challenges that an organization may face in an effective strategic implementation, and what they are basically: first is poor strategy. The strategy which we have formulated is not effective as much it has to be. Second is ineffective training. You have implemented the strategy, but you have not given training to your human resources in so that they can work accordingly. Third is lack of resources. The resources are not as much as it has to be. Lack of communication. There is no proper communication, there is no proper follow up, and your employees resistance to change. Basically, many a time it has been observed that employee once get into his comfortable zone, so he will not find himself suitable to get out of this comfortable zone. So they will not basically adopt any changes, which can also be one of the reason for failure of the strategy. So this is what strategy implementation is. Our last step of this strategic management process is strategic evaluation. This is the very much important step of the strategic management process, because once you have done the scanning of the environment, once you have formulated the strategy, once you have implemented the strategies, but you are not evaluating it, but you are not controlling it, then there is no benefit of such implementation, such formulation. And also in this step, basically you have to evaluate the strategies that the basically the objective for which you have formulated the strategies is basically doing the same with the intention you have worked on it. Strategy evaluation is the process by which the management assesses how well a chosen strategy has been implemented and how successful or otherwise the strategy is. To simply put, strategy evaluation entails reviewing and appraising the strategy implementation process and measuring organizational performance. The process of strategy evaluation consists of following steps. Now, what are the steps of strategy evaluation? First, fixing benchmark of performance. Basically, what you are expecting from implementing such strategy, or by formulating such strategy, what you are basically thinking to achieve. So you have to first fix the benchmark. Second is measurement of performance. Now you have to measure that whether the basically strategy or the standard performance is a benchmark with which the actual performance is to be compared, basically how much you have achieved. Third is analyzing variance. What is the difference between the accepted, expected, and the actual one? You have to analyze the variance. And fourth is taking corrective action. If there is a huge difference between the expected and actual one, then you have to analyze the reasons of the same. What are the reasons? And you have to work upon that reasons basically. So this is what basically strategic management process is, and what strategic management is. Now I end up this video with a very motivational quote that no matter how bad yesterday was, today is a new day full of new opportunities. Thank you so much.